And you're all in there.
Hello.
Holla.
Okay. Quiet on the set. Here we go.
Welcome back to the 101, the small business and entrepreneurial show in Columbus, Ohio. And as I think I said before, if there's other ones, please let us know so we can copy you. Today, I have with me, almost as always, Madison Gillespie from Lincoln Wallace. How are you?
I'm great, minus the horrible weather.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's Columbus. We had a 70-degree day that was followed by a tornado. I don't know what the problem is.
I know.
Snow
I guess
on Monday.
after 32 years of living here, I guess I'm used to it.
Yeah. I think we should also introduce someone that may or may not decide to talk today. Andrew is, I would assume, on a roof or
Catching
looking at
hail.
roofing. Yeah. I did see he was posting some stuff about catching hail, but in his place, Rachel is here, and Rachel Ryder has been mentioned many times on the show. She's normally sitting on the couch in the back, but she decided to step up to the microphone for the first time in a year. Rachel, how are you?
I am fantastic. I wanted to sit by Madison, so I'm
pretty
working
awesome.
on other things. I wanted to sit far away from you.
Well, what I was going to say is there was only one seat left, and I wasn't leaving it open for you. So I think we've established everybody's in a good mood today.
Yes.
Madison brought up something before the show that I think we should go ahead and tackle.
Masters Week.
Not
Golf
Masters
Masters,
Week.
no.
Rachel, what do you think about sports?
Yeah, sport.
Yeah, Rachel doesn't care about sports,
No.
and she was very nonplussed by the fact we were talking about sports for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's
But
about right.
the show today, what we wanted to do was there was an article about do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? But I want to back up to this topic that Madison brought up about Facebook. And the reason we've discussed that Facebook was having some issues in the past and they had changed their analytics, so the posting that you were seeing was kind of off and it wasn't the normal algorithm. But there's a very important thing about Facebook about when we do this show. We broadcast this show on Facebook Live as we're doing it. And Rachel and I have 8 shows total that we either are on or produce, and all of these get shared on Facebook. So we are using this tool to let people see what we're doing. And this applies to the way that we do business when we're networking with other people. But Madison, why don't you tell people what happened with Facebook this week?
Well, I remember, I think it was like a month and a half ago, I was talking to my brother just about what Facebook has turned into as a whole. Because I use it for my business all the time. We, like you said, we use it for the show. But it started to slowly just feel... It just felt creepy for a while. But I think it just started to feel like there was a shift happening with people starting to realize how much control Facebook actually had. And that ultimately hit the fan when... was it Cambridge Analytics?
Yeah.
That whole story broke. And I've been kind of tracking it ever since just because I'm fascinated by such a monster of a company like Facebook and actually knowing the amount of revenue they're bringing in when I'm using it personally to spend money on it. Imagine all the other millions of people. And I just, well, first of all, I saw that they took close to a $90 billion hit in the market.
Which is nothing.
To
It's
them.
fine.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
It really
that's
isn't.
the interest payment on Zuckerberg's house.
That's
Actually,
That's
no,
true.
because he's not paying any interest. He didn't have to put any money down.
right.
It seemed
All
like
cash.
yeah. But we should talk about the Cambridge University issue. Was all this data mining that was done was for quote unquote the election, so that you could see in an area where, let's say, Hillary Clinton was doing well, you could ignore it. You wouldn't have to spend money or get any influence there because you were that geographic area, what's called geo-targeting,
Right.
basically was saying, you've already got this mapped out, you don't really need to hit this area. But it would also identify where there was a hole, where there was a need. The entire election was run like we would do a TV or radio campaign.
Yep.
I'm trying to reach X amount of people in this area and hope that 5 to 10% of these people respond to my message. The difference was in media, we would kill to have those numbers to know where those people are.
That was king, right? If you had that information.
Right. And so we, as consumers, are feeding this beast because it's free. Facebook is free. Everyone can have it. But the data that we're putting into it they're selling your information. And we've known about this. This has been going on.
Yeah,
since,
it's not like it's a big surprise thing.
but it's become a big deal now because politically it's like, oh, who else has access to this information?
Yeah, it's funny because everybody gets all freaked out by it, but it's been happening ever since Facebook was created. Like, you're giving up so much information, and people are shocked when it might have affected an election either way.
Right.
Like, that's not a surprise, really. I don't think so, because I don't know. There's just too much power behind those numbers, and that's when it started getting scary.
But that again was an entrepreneurial. I'm not really sure if I want to give the Winklevoss twins the credit for it or Mark Zuckerberg.
They got money out of it.
But you know what? It's through the court system they got their money.
That's
But
right.
I think when we look at a product, and we're always talking about, whatever you do, it's going to consume you. It's going to consume your life. There are going to be some downfalls. The issue with Facebook being right now, we all use it. Like whether it's marketing our company or other people's company, we are constantly using this to reach out. And it is a very effective tool. But as you said, this could be the decline of Facebook.
Yeah, I think it will be. And by decline, I mean Zuckerberg's not going to be the second richest man in the world. He's still going to be super successful. People are still going to use it. I mean, I've talked for the last couple months about getting rid of it just in general because it doesn't really serve me as a person anymore. I think it was this giant platform that was created for people that have FOMO, fear of missing out, right? I mean, like, you're giving up all this information so you can see what other people post, so you can keep yours active. And outside of my business, because not having Facebook for my business would be like not having a website for my business nowadays, right? Most people go to Facebook before they go to anything else, validate you, see how many likes you have.
I saw somebody, not to cut you off, but that posted something about, they put on Facebook, they were looking for business advice about a tax issue on their personal account. So they said, I had sent this client something on the 28th, they didn't do it by this date. Do I have to pay the taxes on that? On their personal account, which I thought, they say if you want to know the right answer to something, pose the question in the wrong form on the internet and you'll get all the right answers. Like, no, dummy, that's not how that's done. So then I thought, all right, I'll go down this rabbit hole. So I start reading and it's like, well, my cousin's husband knows an attorney. And it's like, you're going to read through all these responses when the first thought would have been, I need to call somebody. We don't do that.
No, we reach out to the community.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Facebook community, abuse me with your comments and let me know, let me know a tax status because my taxes are due in 5 days. What should I do? Tell me Facebook.
Right.
But we all do that now, right?
Yeah. I mean, Facebook used to be, and it even is now, I mean, it's a big place for people to rant. It's a place for people to, there's so many different facets of it. Like, you're trying to check on your nephews or your family, but you're also getting caught up in all the minutia of, like, just everyday drama. I mean, think about everything that's come from Facebook over the years that's positive and negative, how many divorces, so it can be a place. What's that?
Well, I love when I find out someone's getting divorced on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because it's never a mutually, like, let's all get along.
Well, if you're putting it on Facebook, then it's probably not mutual, right?
No, I think one of those is like, hey, the hunt is on, and the other one is like, pray for me. But I don't want to concentrate on Facebook that much. I mean, we know that people are deactivating that, and my first thought was, when we do the show, yes, the show airs on the radio, but we're using it on Facebook. Then from there, we take it from Facebook and put it on YouTube. So you're able to see this in multiple platforms. We also take pieces of it and put it on LinkedIn, on Instagram. These social networking sites, none of this costs any money. And that's the other thing is when I'm talking to younger entrepreneurs or people that have a business, and I always say, you need to show people what you do. You need them to see how you're different.
Yep.
This was the way to do it, and you didn't have to spend money. I know there's a guy, Nick Saint, I'll give you a shout out. This guy created he went from just posting him doing work on people's lawns to now he has like an online chat show that's on Facebook. But he's like worldwide with this.
It's crazy.
I don't know that necessarily generates that much money that you have that kind of audience attached, but this guy's networked without leaving his house. Right?
Yeah.
That was the whole... That's
used the right way. That's the beauty of Facebook.
Right.
I mean, I look back on all the connections that I've made with people, business-related friends, through Facebook as, the platform to use. It just starts to get a little sticky when you feel like some of that stuff can be used against you. My version of myself when I was 21, when Facebook came out, is a little different than it is now. And making sure that all that stuff coincides with who you are. I think it's an opportunity to connect with people. It's an opportunity to promote your business. But I think it's starting to get to the point where people can use almost your past against you, or they can, and that's kind of what I think was proven. Not using your past against you, but using all that data because people are so relaxed about what's happening to it. I mean, I vividly remember driving in the car with my former boss. This was like 2 years ago, and I kept telling him that Facebook could pick up on what you're saying, and they used keywords to put advertisements in front of you, and he didn't believe me. So we're driving back from an event, and we were talking. I was having lower back issues at the time. We started talking about it. We were talking about different exercises we could do to get that fixed. We get back to the office. 20 minutes later, the first thing that comes up in my news feed is about lower back pain and what fixes it. And I walked up to him and I showed him that. He goes, "That's impossible." And then you learn a little bit more, and the messenger has the microphone on that's picking up your stuff. Then our station did a news article on it, and it's like we're blatantly being listened to and putting advertisement in front of us, but we don't care. So there's got to be a point to where people care, and I think that's when this big story broke. People now care. I mean, they're coming out with ways of how to save all your photos and save all your information and delete Facebook.
But this is my question to you as a small business owner, and really you own multiple businesses now. Do you look at it and say, I want to delete my personal stuff and keep my business stuff up there? Because here's the way I look at it. That's kind of hypocritical. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying if I took down my personal and left my business up there, I'm still contributing.
That's where it gets sticky because I've actually said those words. I don't want my personal, but I want to keep my business. But the thing is, my personal and my business are intertwined. Like, I feed off them to use. So does it benefit me by keeping one up and removing the other with my whole agenda to get rid of Facebook? No, it doesn't. And so that's why I've kept it up, because I do I think it's learning about how to scale back. Give as little information but still be able to connect with people. And that's kind of what I'm working on now, because yeah, it does freak me out a little bit, but I've known this for a long time, and it's trying to, if Facebook's taking advantage of us, we have to be able to take advantage of it, and that's cut back on the information you're giving them, but still use the same platform to help your business or whatever you're using it for. That's kind of my mentality now with it.
I think the scarier thing is that it's not just Facebook. Did you see the Sinclair Broadcasting deal?
That was crazy.
That was amazing.
It was.
That you know where I first saw this was on, I think it's called Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, where he was talking about that. And to see someone put it all together from
Deadspin,
50 different...
didn't they?
I think it was Deadspin.
Yeah.
But you think about it, you're still going to watch those TV shows.
Yeah.
Right? You're still going to tune in and watch Dancing with the Stars or whatever it is you watch on there. You know your data is being used to pitch you products.
The scary part is that the biggest fear of somebody like Nexstar, somebody like Sinclair, something like these big media agencies is using their platform to share the same consistent message throughout the whole country, and that's what they did. That's scary.
Well, that's a conglomeration of media in general. That's the thing that I think, we had a friend of Andrew's was looking to do something, and he's already currently doing some marketing, and I could pull all the information. I could see everything he'd done, the dates, the time, what he paid for it. That's kind of a scary thing to think that someone can do that, but it can be done. Mm-hmm. Any of this information is captured somewhere. It's just there's some information you just can't get a hold of. But Facebook has it.
Data is king in the world we live in now. I mean, Amazon uses all of its data to its advantage. Facebook does.
Amazon's the creepiest one, where my old partner, he wanted to get a smoker, and he bought the smoker. I think he looked it up, he priced it, and he bought it at Sam's Club or something. He was getting served ads for the next 6 months about new smokers. So you bought this one, so we took it out, and then he was being served. Here's step 2.
Here's the better one.
Right. Which but that was through Amazon.
It's insane.
Yeah. So data mining is good. That's what
yes. So, highly recommend.
Yeah, start multiple Facebook accounts. It won't be an issue.
Nobody's really checking on it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that, again, we're going to talk about the keys of being an entrepreneur, the most important parts. But I think that is a hot topic issue that we had to get out. And again, if you're a small business owner that is using this platform or any of them, just know you're giving your personal data away to do this.
Yeah.
But again, you're saying you're thinking about cutting yours off. To me, the way I'm looking at it is I'm going to use it more.
Yeah. You
only
would
for-
do that.
Well,
I love
just
it. No,
listen.
I'm
You know how I
serious.
am. Like, if there are no rules to any of this stuff, like you
Right.
should never be offended by anything that anyone ever says. If they don't like your product, if they don't like you, who cares? Move on.
Right.
Because you're not in business for them. You're in business for you. But my concern would be if somebody's business. We've already seen they've hit like the YouTube. Those people that were making money off of YouTube, putting content out there, and then monetizing it. Now that's being cut off. YouTube's still getting their money.
Yep.
Right? But you've produced content which you no longer get paid for.
So when you say cutting that off, like the people actually putting out the content aren't getting paid anymore?
So what they've done is they've streamlined it, kind of like Facebook did. Remember when Facebook at one point it was like every other thing that you saw was an ad for something,
Mm-hmm.
and they got rid of it. They changed the algorithm so that you didn't see that. Now YouTube, if anytime you go on YouTube and you want to watch something that's like an hour long, and there'll be those little yellow slits in
Mhm.
there, you can see where the ad breaks are going to be, just
Yep.
like TV would be.
Hulu does that too.
Right. Well, YouTube, instead, now they're not paying the person that's making the content, or they're making it harder for you to make money. So all those people that were making, $20,000 a month as
It's insane.
YouTube stars, and that's on the low end, are now getting nothing.
Wow.
Right? So the YouTube shooting that happened yesterday
Yeah.
on that
Is
campus,
that why?
that girl was one of the bigger revenue producing people. They cut off her income. They changed the pot. So she,
Wow.
I
Did
mean-
anybody get hurt in that besides her?
I don't know. I'd stop paying attention to all the
Yeah.
shootings because if I got caught up, it seems like every day there's one.
I know.
So, but my point was not to point out the shooting. It was that this is somebody that was making their living off of that.
Yeah, I mean it's turned into the rich get richer in that scenario because these people have put their heart and soul into YouTube or social media
Right.
to get rich. Now, is that a good long-term life business plan? Probably not.
Well, that's not. There are people that look at it and they're entrepreneurs because they started. If you're making content, I always encourage people make
Yeah,
your own
I agree.
content, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to do it. But you've got to promote yourself and your brand however you can. The problem is when you technically now have a job. You sign an agreement with YouTube that you're going to get X amount of dollars, whatever. You just sign a contract
Mm-hmm.
to how you're going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer being entrepreneurial. That is, you've decided what your wage is going to be for what you're producing.
working for somebody.
So it starts out that way. But the bigger question, and I thought about you because we've had conversations where there are ups and downs to this, where there's sometimes the workload is so overwhelming and how am I going to get through this? And then the next day I'm going to watch the Masters.
Do
right?
do do.
Yeah. So there is that ebb and flow of it where it's not really are you making money anymore, it's are you making whatever your widget is, are you getting joy out of that?
Mm-hmm.
You start to forget that that's what it's about. Because
Mm-hmm.
the money is, you don't become an entrepreneur because you know you're going to get rich right away. We have a culture that everybody wants to win right away.
It's just instant gratification.
Right. Kids today, everybody has to get a trophy, and I'm not picking on the trophy part. It's, I can't let anybody think they're less than this.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to be stars right away. But it's like the Andy Warhol 15 minutes thing. I don't think younger people understand that. Do you know that quote?
Mm-hmm.
That Andy Warhol said everyone will get their 15 minutes of fame. So for example, this Stormy Daniels thing. I don't know what's going on with that because I'm not going to watch all of that. 130,000 seems like a lot of money for one time, but whatever. Max $8,000. But that's somebody that only, let's say, the devious ones would probably know that name and go, cool.
Yeah.
But now she's getting her 15 minutes, and that's going to go away. So it'll get
Yep.
brought up as an afterthought.
Yep.
That's how a lot of these entrepreneurs are acting now. Like, I'm going to make this thing, and I'm going to be big because people are going to see it.
We've given people with no talent that platform.
Yeah.
And some people, I mean, the Kardashians come up a lot. They're not talented. Their mom is a business genius.
Right.
She is brilliant. Like, those girls are, I mean, no, some of the stuff Kim did to get famous is her own thing, but
But again,
Tomato.
but how did she become famous? Through video. She made content.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
turned it into a billion-dollar empire.
yeah, now one of the daughters can actually tweet and make a stock go down.
Well, that was the Snapchat.
Yeah,
What did it lose?
Snapchat, yeah.
What was the number it lost?
It's like 1.3 billion because of her.
Because she said, does anyone even use this anymore?
Mm-hmm.
But again, they signed a contract with her, and we're going to pay you, and then she turned on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also had the issue with Rihanna got upset because of
There's
some poll
something
question.
about slapping her in the face.
Which we're all looking at this like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
But if you bought stock in that, you would be freaking out.
Yeah.
I'd rather buy Bitcoin than buy into Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff.
Well, the public relations side, which like Facebook was made to connect people, and the public relations side is also what brings it down too, just as quick, right? Like just a comment is tweeted and it affects it. That social media aspect has built Snapchat, but can also bring it right back down.
But it's also made people that are not entrepreneurs. And Rachel, if you would wake up, I just want to ask your opinion on this about the social media stars, the bodybuilding stars. Like everybody's selling a gimmick or a product, right? And everyone's become the greatest trainer ever, right? So you see that, and then are there too many of those people? Doesn't it kind of clutter the world of what you're in?
Yeah, I honestly really don't want to comment on it too much.
Perfect. Perfect. Well,
I will then.
again.
Yes, please, Madison. Fitness expert over here.
That's right. Have you seen my abs online?
Yeah.
They're ridiculous.
I'm just saying, when you look at those people, everybody's an expert on something because they have a portal, they have an email, they have a website. You can direct message them, you can send them money, and they're going to send you a plan. And there's a billion of those out there. It used to be a trainer was like somebody in Rachel's world where they've done this, and this, and you have to go see them, and here's the hours you're available. Like there was more discipline. Now it's the Wild West. Anybody can do it.
Well, the scary part of it is when I used to go in and sell TV, I would talk to my clients that the one thing that TV separates from everybody else is credibility. Because if you're on TV, you've put time into it, you've cared about your creative, you cared about your call to action, how you're going to get clients.
And you've invested long term because it's not
cheap. It's not cheap if you do it right. The scary part about social media...
No, you mean it's cheap if you do it right. You
What
said
did
it's
I say?
not cheap if you do it right.
It's cheap if you do it right.
Yeah, don't worry about TV advertising. If you do it right, it works.
It does, yeah. No, it works very effectively. The problem, I think, where social media comes in is the credibility factor isn't there. You know, when you get online and you see somebody that works out with you or or whoever it is, and they got 40,000 followers, instantly you're like, they have credibility. But do they really?
Probably not, because they can buy that
Yeah.
to make you think that they do.
That was the other
Right.
thing, is you can buy followers. That is the other part
You
of
can
where...
buy the followers, you can buy the likes,
Yeah.
and then if you're posting content, I've even seen people steal other people's client progress photos and use it as their own
That's
so that they
insane.
get clients.
Because there's no copyright to it.
Yeah.
Again, it's
Well,
the
and
Wild
who's
West.
checking it? Who's fact checking it? Oh no, this was actually 2 months ago, not 3 weeks ago, like you said. Or I see that. I feel like I see that in the fitness world. And I work out, but I'm not into it. But
The only reason I
I
brought that up
fact
is...
checked it and I got ripped a new one.
Yeah.
well, you probably deserved it.
The only reason I brought that
I
up
did.
is that what is interesting about the world that Rachel's in, yes, she's in media with me and helps me produce these things, but she's also in the fitness industry. And when I'm looking at this, I see it's constant. It's always, don't waste your time with this and this and this. Go to my website, my transformation, buy this thing. The teas is my favorite thing. Everybody is an entrepreneur that sells these teas, and they don't really do what they say they're going to do, right?
They do. I buy
Well,
all of them.
The
Yeah.
detox teas.
Yeah, that
Yeah, no,
stuff
you're
used to
right.
be on TV at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, hey, you're up. You probably don't have a job. Drink this, and you'll lose
Yeah.
10 pounds because it's bleach. And now everybody is selling or reselling or remastering.
Once you get to a certain following number, now you're holding up a
Everyone trusts in whatever it is that you're holding.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the question is like, once you actually, let's say you spend some money on social media, on Instagram, and you get 300 likes or whatever, how do you really know where those are even coming from and if you were affected? Like, there's fake likes out there too. There's
Rachel
robotic...
said to me the funniest thing, that we were looking at somebody who has like 10,000 people following him. They have 4 likes.
Yeah.
You know, like no comments.
That's-
It's just 4 likes, and it's like, what? You're
How does
paying
that
for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to pay for the followers, at least pay for the likes so
Yeah,
no
right.
one knows.
Right.
You just outed yourself.
I'd make like 10,000 accounts just so I could like build it
have
up.
10,000 likes.
Yeah.
And only following 3 people.
All right, we're going to cut the break. You're listening to the 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. Let me get back and actually get into this shit. I didn't realize how much time we were spending on that.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
was
okay.
good though.
It is.
No, that's fine. That's perfect time to go. That's when I always want you to go to break.
Okay.
Because then the ID airs right there as close to 8 a.m. as possible. If you'd have gone on break at 15, I would have stuck an ID in the middle when you were talking.
Oh, okay.
It's FCC law.
I just have to say that someone commented and said they want me on more. So
Cool.
just leave that there.
Hi,
Are you like-
Mom.
Are you like,
Show needs
thanks,
more Rachel.
Rachel? Are you
Wait,
like,
who said
thanks,
that?
Mom?
No, it was a guy. Thanks, Adam.
Listen, she won't come on
Your
the show.
friend, Adam Rattan.
Oh, listen, Adam. If you had to beg her
Adam
just to sit there.
Rattan?
I agree.
Any relation
More-
to Marty or Stacy
more
Rattan?
I don't know.
I don't
He's
know.
Michael's
Ask him right
friend.
into the TV.
Ask him.
You have friends?
No.
I have
I knew a Rattan back in school, a Stacy Rattan.
Ted.
Yeah, that.
So I put up a posting for a job.
I
Like
saw
they're
that.
looking to hire somebody, and I put it on Indeed, and I've had like 40 people reply, like
Wow.
with their resumes and stuff. What's crazy is I'm using Facebook to vet them.
Indeed.com.
Why not?
No, that well,
Like, let's see what
my
you're
aunt's
putting
in
out
HR,
there.
and that's what they do. They'll be like, "Well, we can't. This isn't for you." And basically, I'm not saying that they're scoping that out, but you see somebody with like a rebel flag and they're shooting guns at dogs on the weekends, you're probably gonna go.
They have a T-shirt that says "Vic's my dog."
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember what was that? The Borat movie?
Oh yeah!
That kid was trying that
That
rebel
is a
flag
movie
thing.
I have seen.
Wow,
Well, you remember the
the
guy
What a
that-
cinematic
golf club.
masterpiece.
I
Borat?
Cinematic masterpiece.
She's seen no movies, and I bring up something that's like so filthy, and she's like, "I've seen that twice."
Well,
today."
Borat is
It's
the
the only
best.
DVD I
But
own.
remember the guy that's in there and he's like dropping in bombs and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff? He sued the movie, saying they took it out of character. I was drunk. I didn't do that. And they go to his Facebook page and there he is, double burden it,
Yeah.
rebel flag,
Yeah, right.
burning crosses.
You know what's crazy? So the guy, did you watch the end of that when they went to the Pentecostal church?
Oh yeah,
So my dad went to school with the pastor in that movie.
he did.
Yeah, they like were across from the door. I mean, he knew him. So we were watching it, and my dad was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Wait, your dad watched that with you?
Well, that part.
He's very understanding.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the rest of it. Your wife is
Because the guy he went to school with is in it.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah,
Rachel,
everybody-
I've never seen that movie.
Yeah.
What
Borat.
movie? Sorry, I was
Borat,
typing.
I've never seen
Oh,
that
my
movie.
brother-
It's
Below.
stupid. Don't
Yeah,
watch
it's
it.
crazy.
Actually,
Like
it's a
like
really
watching
good
a one of those like Johnny
Glorious movie
Knoxville
film.
and Steve-O movies.
Jackass is the best.
we-
I
So-
can't believe it didn't win like an Oscar.
When we saw the
I just think those are
trailer,
just-
I used to watch
yeah.
that with my dad.
I watched
You're
one
like,
and I'm
there's a
like,
dude that he
okay, I don't
just
need
got
to
out of
watch any
college.
more
He was a
Jackass.
punter
This
at
is just,
OU.
It's
people doing
amazing.
stupid
And
firecrackers in
you
their ass and
remind me
things
of
like
him. He was
that.
just a
That's
lot bigger.
10 out of 10.
And so I just sent the link and I hadn't opened it yet. So we're watching at the same time. And he
I prefer Caddyshack or the
because
Blues
it's that
Brothers
scene
or
when he's
Animal
in
House
the
Never seen it
village,
or The
yet.
Godfather.
and that horse sneezes or whatever, and he goes, "Eh, "Who's shit?" Like God bless you, type thing.
Yeah. Dude, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is my
Buzz
sister.
is coming in tomorrow. He texted me.
Okay.
Okay, Buzz is coming
She's
in.
number one
Great.
prostitute in all of the country.
Probably not Jeff or Scott, but Buzz will be here.
Well,
I'll
we
check
used
with
to do
them,
the
too.
Ali G
They're
show.
in, they're
That's
going
kind
to
of how
Florida.
I know.
That's true.
Okay, then Buzz will be here at 11. Cool.
Is the moon really made of cheese? What?
The moon is made of green cheese. My mom told me when I was
Who
3
is
years
that?
old.
He's talking to Buzz Aldrin, right? My main man, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Can I be done now?
You could be fired. All right, Jimmy, let's bring
I
this
get
back.
fired every day.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to the 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. We are finally going to get into our main topic. We spent a little time on Facebook. So here was the list that was put together, and this was put together by Draymond. I'm going to mess this guy's name up. The guy that's on the Shark Tank. Draymond.
Green.
Nope. Let's say
Damon
that.
Jones.
I don't even care. The guy that started FUBU.
Damon
I-
Jones.
What is a
I'm looking
FUBU?
at. What is FUBU?
Yeah.
That was clothing like in the 90s that was big. It just
For us
said-
by us.
Do you
Yeah.
have any?
I have tons of it, and it goes with my Kangol hats and chains.
I'm
Yep.
going to wear it on the next
Oh my god, that would be
Facebook
amazing.
That'd be perfect. The shorts would be pants for you.
That's fine.
Damn it.
It's
Well,
ladylike.
listen, I think we're getting all out of sorts, but yes, you will wear that next week. Point being, the guy on Shark Tank
Damon
put this
Jones.
list together.
Isn't it Damon Jones?
You said
I
Draymond
think
Green
so.
who
I
plays
think
for the
you're
Warriors.
I know. I was
I
kidding.
think that's right. What I found interesting about it was not who wrote it, but the fact that this guy is a serial entrepreneur. He's done multiple things and started with a clothing line.
Yep.
And I think it was like the 25th anniversary of it
That's
last
crazy.
week. And it was just an idea that he and another guy had, and they were going to make their own. I mean, FUBU was for us, by us, but it spawned so many other things. I mean, he's on Shark Tank. He's not wearing, hip hop gear. He's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
So he is an entrepreneur to the max level.
Yep.
But some of these we've discussed on the show before, but I really wanted to get. I also like that Rachel's here because she's seen. We've dealt with a lot of small business people where they're kind of either closed-minded or they know how it's going to go. And in the beginning, we would not fight with them, but like, we'll get you there. We're going to drag you to the watering hole. And I can remember multiple times where I'm like, no, we're going to do this. And she's like, this isn't going to work. Like, just saying it to me. And I'm like, no, Ray, you don't get it. We'll get them there. And every single time she's been right because it hasn't been the right fit. But it's because these entrepreneurs, when you look at this list, this is the list that we judge people on now.
Mm-hmm.
So the first part would be, are you confident in yourself and your own idea? Like your idea of where you're going. And Madison, you're a great example of somebody that you are confident about what you're doing. But you had a lot of people tell you this wasn't going to work.
Yeah, I did. Right? Yeah. I think that's the hardest part is, there's so many quotes out there, believe in yourself and don't listen to other people. I mean, there's
a cat on the poster.
Yeah, super adorable pictures. No, but I think it comes down to the fact that you have to. There's no other option.
Because you have to believe in it. Like, it's not so much that you have to have the whole plan dug out.
But
you've got to believe in what you are going to do about it.
That's right. It's the same as when I went into sales and I was told, are you able to hear the words no? And I thought I was. And then you hear the words no, and you're like, why don't they like me? And you start questioning yourself and everything.
You take it personal.
You take it personal, and I think business is the same way. You have to be able to know that you're gonna fail. There's gonna be situations where you're gonna fail. And when it's your own business, it's different than if you didn't get a sale. Because
you get another at bat.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. There's always somebody else out there that you can talk to. When it's your own business, you struck out, and that could be it for the day, the week, or the month.
Yep. Yeah, I actually read something last night. I was just doing some research, and it came across this guy that was talking about when he started his business, he positioned himself as the expert in the field that he was in. And he goes, I might not have been the expert. He goes, but I worked so hard to be that and to put my name out there like that my confidence was through the roof. Like, because
he started to believe his own gimmick.
That's exactly right. And then he perfected it because he believed it enough. Like, if you can create your own lie and believe it enough to actually make it happen, I mean...
Ray, have you ever seen anyone who's actually believed the gimmick but not pulled through?
I was working on something else. What?
Don't worry, we're just doing a radio show.
No big deal.
I was carrying the workload.
Yeah,
your workload.
You still are.
So what Madison was just talking about is somebody that positions themselves as an expert.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't really follow through, right? Have we seen that before?
Yeah, we've actually talked about that on the old 101s before.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
before
you came along, Madison.
Yeah,
cool
BC,
guys.
BC.
Throw that in my face.
Before crew. No, but I know what you mean. It's just that we have kind of encountered that a lot of times. Like my family, like every Sunday, the Sunday lunch becomes, "What'd you do this week?" Like I feel like I'm under the gun. Like I got to answer 10 different people about it. But there's always someone that says, "Have you ever talked to this person?" It's always some medical person because they think there's a lot of money there. But you're talking to somebody who already thinks they're smarter than everybody in the room. Whatever I have to say does not matter because A, they're not going to understand it, and B, they don't care about it.
No.
Because I don't have doctor in front of my name. Now, I'm thinking about doing that.
You should.
mean,
why not?
It'd be a lie, but I'll be like, Dr. Morris Media. Like, that would be cool.
That has a ring to it.
Four-finger ring.
Yes.
I brought that up on the show I did earlier about getting a grill.
Oh, you should.
A gold grill.
Yeah. Oh, you need to just speak at like a university and get your, when you get a doctorate from just...
Oh, Bill Cosby has several of those.
Yeah.
That's the one positive we'll say about Bill Cosby on the show.
Yep.
I want to lead into number 2 of this. You kind of brought this up, that you have to have passion. Passion for your idea and passion for where you're going.
I think it ties into the confidence part. I mean, you mentioned that people didn't believe in me. It was more the fact that, like, people don't understand... They can't get behind something they're not passionate about themselves, right? Like, everybody's the first person to tell you, well, be careful. You might not make it. You might not do this. But then that's when the confidence and the passion side kind of kick in, because you're not going to walk away from what you're doing unless you're passionate about where you're going. I would hope not. And, right? I mean...
it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to have a plan. Like, I think I've told this story, I think, before on the BC 101s. where when I left, I just knew, like I was certain of what I was going to do, but I didn't know how to get there. And I thought at some point somebody would come along and go, son, come here, let me take care of you. Right?
Little old me came along. And I said, son?
Yeah. She said, son,
listen here,
I'm
son.
going to get you there. You know, here's the sad part. I can take credit for only about 50% of the success of what we're doing.
That's
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
That seems high, but I believe you.
Maybe 25%.
Okay, there we go.
But this, I knew what I was going to do, but the hardest thing was I went the other way. I went to people that I thought were very passionate about media and putting these things together, like radio shows and all that. And everyone just kind of gave me that glassed over look. Meanwhile, she's still in college and, hey, do you want a job? Yeah, I'll take it. I didn't tell her how much money. We didn't get to that. She's
Well,
like,
I was doing Red Bull in the
that's
freezing
true.
cold, wearing like nothing,
I
and
feel
sticking my hand into a thing of ice to get out Red Bulls. And I was like, yes, I want a job. I
Yeah.
don't want to do this misery.
Where was that?
when she was in school, like,
At the
part of what I loved about what she was doing was here I am, like, working 20-hour days, like every single day, 7 days a week. But she was working like 3 different jobs.
Yeah, I had 3 jobs at one time, and I was a full-time student.
Yeah. So I was looking at it and I'm like, you got to find people that are passionate about something. Like, there's something that makes you go to that terrible job. There's something that you know it's going to get better, right? And
yeah, you hope.
but
I
she,
was hoping.
Well,
I was
all three.
also prepping for my first show then,
Yeah.
too.
like, she had an insane schedule.
That is nuts.
And yet, she would have to ask me what she could do. Like, let me take that from me. Let me do this. Let me.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and I was like a one-man show, and I was doing that show terribly. Like, I could execute everything, but you can't run a business like that.
Mm-mm.
But what I liked the most about Rachel was the passion that she had for taking on the task. Like, I could explain something one time, and it was almost like she would get annoyed if I said it again.
Yeah. She's like, I got
do.
you, bro.
Yeah, well, she does that now.
I
Now
still-
I don't even,
She still
now,
does.
now I don't even have to say it, but
Like, halfway through the sentence, I'm like, I got it.
yeah.
Shut up.
But again, I've never had to question the passion she had for doing this because she sees where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
But to people that were already in our business, I got more, why do you want to do that? Why? Why don't you just do this? She's never asked me why we do something. We build it. Sometimes it struggles to take off, but takes off. Or something, it just shoots through the roof.
Yeah, takes off.
But I will say we don't really celebrate the wins like I think I told you on
Yeah,
the phone.
yeah.
You got to celebrate the wins. We don't really.
We just kind of, like, air 5 and move
Yeah.
on.
I went in on the air.
But you gotta be there. It's because it's real
Ah,
quick. It doesn't happen
dang it.
for too long. But again, it's not because what we're doing. What's cool about what we're doing is we get to see other people thrive and
Mhm.
move on.
Well, you're helping You're helping take somebody's dream or somebody's idea and grow it.
Right.
And how cool is
But
that?
that's the cool part is if you're passionate about what you're doing, we want to share that.
Right.
All we want to do is we want to be there when it takes off.
Yep.
That's the coolest part is because there are a lot of people that it's like, what's in it for me? Rachel's never been that way, and that's not how we operate our business. Like when we met you at a coffee shop, it was, you know what, we should probably do a radio show, right?
I know.
And
It's
I know
so crazy
you were
to think
probably
about.
like, why?
I'm
But
like,
you
totally,
bought in,
man.
right? You
Yeah.
And
were
then
like,
Yeah.
5 months later.
Here we are. It only took 5 months of
I know.
convincing you.
I know, it is kind of crazy. I think back about it. I left NBC right around July 4th. I think we met like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
But I already knew you because of your relationship with the station. And then when we sat down, we talked about the radio show, and we didn't start doing it till November. And I was kind of like, I need to get my stuff going first so
Right.
that I can actually have stuff to talk about. I mean, it kind of all worked out
Right.
how it was meant to. You know?
Well, it's like you went to a networking event that was right across the hallway from a client of ours, and you're showing it like you'd never heard of them, but everything it all kind of comes
it
together.
all does come
Because we
back
have our own
together.
little networking.
That's
thing.
right. That's the beauty of it. I mean, we're getting to connect with other entrepreneurs around Columbus, and in the art of networking and meeting people, I mean, it's hard to find a better platform. That's what I'm really proud about this show is because we're giving other people a voice and an opportunity and also connecting ourselves with them in such a cool and unique way. I
Well,
love
and it kind of bleeds into the next thing. It's the risk-taking aspect. Everybody that we talk to or deal with has all made a bet 100% on themselves. And I saw this quote where it said, Plan A has to work because I don't have a Plan B. And I thought, that's everybody that we deal with. And when we're doing this show, it's not really, we're not talking about ourselves. I want to talk to other people who are just as jazzed to get up every day and build their own thing. Because, I see this quote all the time when politicians are running, small business is the backbone of this economy. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is all about corporate tax loops because that's what employs the most amount of people.
Yep.
However, if you're willing to build your own thing, you don't have to play by anybody else's rules. You can do what you want to do and build your own stuff.
The universe does not like change.
No.
We just don't. As humans, we don't like change. We get in something that's comfortable. And the thing that separates the people that want to pursue their dream is to take that risk and make that change. And the way that we're built, when you start doing that and you start surrounding yourself with people within there's that huge risk element attached to it too. People naturally are drawn to that because they see somebody in the back of their mind kind of doing what they want to do. Even if they don't have a business plan, it's like this person is, you don't see the stress on them and running their own business and all that it takes to get something off the ground. But people are encouraged by that. And it's so funny how things start to fall together when you actually realize that you can do it yourself if you really want it bad enough. And that's really what it comes down. Like, there's nothing special about you or I or Rachel or anybody in this room that anybody else couldn't do whatever they want to do. It just depends on what risk are you willing to take. I mean, it just goes back in order. If you're willing to take a risk, if you're passionate about that risk, and if you're confident that your business plan and what you're trying to execute is going to work, there is zero that can stop you.
Right.
Period.
Well, I think as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, you're drawn to the friction. You're drawn to the friction of making something happen because, if you're going to do this, you got to go all in. You've got to be ready to hit your head a couple times to do this. But you find other like-minded people that they also want to build their own thing. These networking events are cool if something comes out of it. If you go to a networking event and it's all about, let's hook up on LinkedIn or, let's get coffee together, I want to cut through all that mess.
Yep.
Tell me what it is you envision, and let's build that.
Yep. I mean, you're exactly right. I met a guy at a networking event, and he goes to all of them, and we just kind of hit it off. And now he goes to so many that he reaches out to me on all of them. And now I have a buddy to go to him. Like, not that I'm afraid to go alone, but it's so nice when you get one person that you're connected to. I just met him 2 months ago. Now we're going to all these events. He's introducing me to people. I'm introducing him to people I've met. And that's really all that. That's what it should be about. And I'm making sure that when I have conversations with people that I'm upfront, like, we should connect. And by connect, let's get coffee. I don't want to just shoot you an email and us BS back and forth for 3 weeks and never really getting it. That's a waste of my time. It's a waste of everybody's time. Like, if we're going to actually connect and help each other, let's do it.
I think Rachel likes it when we go to a place the first time and I say, it's very important that you listen to us because we may never be here again.
Yes.
So
that's cool.
I'm not going to waste your time or our time. But if you're not serious, we're never going to talk again. But on the flip side, if you don't take me serious, I'm going to find someone that does exactly what you do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be painful because you missed out.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And that's not to be mean.
It's
my
just...
time is important, but your time is more important. I'm trying to tell you exactly how this is going to be to protect you.
Yep.
If you don't take it serious,
then
I'm not going to come back out here.
Yeah.
And I think the first time I said it, she might not have been that happy about it. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. But it's not to be mean. It is your time that you have is so important. You got to maximize that.
Yep.
And speaking of time, we're up against the break.
Cool.
You're listening to 101 brought to you by Lincoln Wallace.
It's good stuff.
About 12.
We could probably knock
more
this out in
minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah. Well, see, some of these are, I didn't even go into what he's doing here, but
Yeah.
it's like self-motivated, setting your own schedule and self-motivated. We can tie this together. You all right, Ray?
Yeah.
The guy who's on Shark Tank did that? I thought that was Mark Cuban.
No, it's the guy.
Are you talking about Fubu guy?
Yeah, but I always mess
See,
up
I thought
his
Mark
name.
Cuban
It's
was on
Draymond
Shark
John
Tank.
Jones.
It's Damon Jones.
It can't be. It's Draymond Jones.
Hey
We
Siri,
follow him.
That's where I found this thing.
who's the founder of Fubu? Food.
Food boo.
Food Boo?
For us, by
Food
us.
BOO. Ghost Foods.
Ghost Food.
Who's the founder of For Us, by
How great was
Us?
that article yesterday I sent you?
Which one? You sent me a lot of things.
So,
Damon John.
God bless it.
Joe, I think I had an
Then you
yes
come
on
back
that.
and correct me, but you called him Draymond Green. And I was like,
I was
wait.
kidding.
Who was that?
Well, you hear
Oh, yeah,
Draymond.
we
What do
already
you
went
think
over
of sports? You're a sports fan. You hear Draymond. He's that asshole who
What
played at
show are you
Michigan
doing?
State.
Is Dr. Ping still here?
she got lost in the
So
clouds.
I had this great idea. So I was telling her, I was explaining what Yelp was and how everybody hates Yelp.
Mm-hmm.
So we would start another site, and it would be called Play. It's just
Play.
Yelp spelled backwards.
Where you go to really bad restaurants and rate
And
them
you
good.
talk it up, right? It's
You're like, this restaurant's awesome.
Like, this restaurant is so good. There's mice running around. So you but the restaurant owners have to pay you to keep the reviews
Blah.
going.
This is
I
going to
like
be a
it.
segment on the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
This
it.
week
You
on
drive up,
Play.
there's one car sitting there.
Yeah.
It's got bullet holes in it. What's going
There
on
are
here?
thugs standing outside beating up cats. They're like,
No.
the
This got a
ambiance
great
is great.
Play review.
Listen, they're going to pay us for these Play reviews.
It's a
They're beating
Chinese
up
restaurant.
cats.
They're beating up
Yeah.
cats to throw them into the
They
kitchen.
can't assault cats because Rachel gets offended.
I am honestly offended.
Oh my god, that's what
I don't
you
get
She's gonna
offended
be
about
that-
women's things. I get offended about cats.
Oh,
Cats.
God.
I get offended about
We
women's
can't-
things.
we
I
can't-
need
I
to
do
do
not.
my mug shout out. I keep
Mug
forgetting.
shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
your
you
mug
forgot.
shot.
I've been keeping
Shout
meaning
out.
to do it in the morning so I can attach it.
It's the best. That
It's
mug
It's
is
so
the
awesome.
best.
I
His
drink out all the
mugshot
time.
shout out.
That mug is my favorite
It
thing
is.
we've ever created, and that includes billboard campaigns. And TV.
I wanted to put that on a billboard.
That mug.
I actually brought it up.
We for about 2 minutes we
Listen
thought
to the
about putting
101.
that mug with "Listen to the 101" up
Oh.
on the billboard, but you weren't around, and I thought I don't
my
want him
God.
to be mad.
That would
but-
be amazing.
Well, we had the billboard thing that we could throw up anybody we wanted for like 4 days. And so when she brought it up, I literally was like,
If that ever comes up again. We
totally
should do a 101 billboard.
But I'd want you to know because I wouldn't want you to get sucker punched by
No, that would
somebody
be
like,
hilarious. Look at that sweet mug. Which one? My face or my mug?
Put my name on there, really tiny on the billboard, so you can't read it. Produced and engineered by
Produced
Jim,
by-
by
So you
Juan,
can
by
see
Juan
it.
Thomas,
Why?
by Juan Thomas.
I gotta get one.
What? Okay, we're going to finish.
Yep, 12 minutes to go.
All right.
You ready?
It's too long.
Here we go.
Welcome back to the 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace. I want to try to speed through these because Madison has an appointment.
I'm
The-
so busy.
The life of an entrepreneur wearing sweatpants. But
Joggers.
I think, are those
So-
are
so
called
comfy,
joggers?
yeah.
Yeah, you look
Yeah.
comfy. Thanks
Do
for
I?
making me
He
dress
looks
up.
different today.
Do I?
Yeah.
You
In a
look-
good way?
He
look
normally
more
wears like a
relaxed.
vest, or what's that, like a sweater or something.
Yeah.
Well, he
It's
normally
my old
wears
Catholic
a sweater
school
that would be
uniform.
tight on you, and then he's like, "Oh, this looks good, bro."
Yeah, it's a boy's medium.
When I'm driving my Audi around town with the one busted
He
wheel.
sold it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the process. Anybody looking for an Audi?
Yeah, if anyone's looking for an Audi to help an entrepreneur,
Yes.
you're gonna have to get new tires for it.
No, you're never.
Thanks.
Listen, only a few thousand people listen to the show. It won't matter.
Nah.
So I want to finish off these topics here. We covered being confident in yourself and your idea, your product, having a passion for it, and willing to take risks. Madison, this is one that I know you'll get, is setting your own schedule. You and I came from a very regimented, almost like prison, like wake up, brush your teeth, bust rocks in the yard, and then be back by 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Rachel, when she came along, our schedule was like all over the place. We might be doing stuff
Still
at 10
kind of
o'clock
all
at
over
night.
the place.
Well, yeah, it's never the same every single day.
But I like it like that.
Yeah, I mean, the work is more spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be talking to each other at 10, 11 o'clock at night or, on a Sunday.
Yep.
But you have to adjust to that, right? So as an entrepreneur, you got to break out of that mold.
Mm-hmm. That was the hardest part. It still is like you're seeking, like part of entrepreneurship is you're seeking that freedom to work for yourself. It's a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways because my buddy the other day I had to cancel on something with him because I cancel on a lot of people, like especially friends recently, the last 8 or 9 months, because you never know when something's going to come up and you've got to make that a priority in what you're doing. And I said, he goes, for never working, you seem to always be working.
Right.
And I go, I'm always
I'm
secretly
free
working.
as a bird, bro. Just
Yeah.
not right now.
Yeah, come back 2 days later. No, but I'm secretly working. Like there's me and Josh, my business partner, were talking about that the other day. There's no time that we're like, oh, we're not working, or there's no time we're like, oh, I work until 5 o'clock. It's just all over the map, and that's part of what I wanted. You know, when I first left my previous job, I remember like 3 weeks later, I'm sitting at my house. I'm in sweatpants. I've been working all day, and I got done everything that I felt like I needed to do within that day, and it was 3:30. And I'm like, I could do whatever I want. This is weird, but I would have been stuck where I was until a certain time frame, and that to me that just felt like control, and that's just my makeup.
Well, it's still hard for me to break out of it. It's been almost 8 years now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I feel guilty if I'm like not working on something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll literally sit there until the school bell rings at my own office.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if nothing's going on, you know, I'll say, Ray, go ahead and take off for a while, and then if something comes up, we'll communicate. But because what's cool is we don't have to be in the same building to do a lot of things that we're doing.
Which is awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what annoys me the most is when people are like, that when they talk about, you should be able to go do this now because you don't have a boss. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. Just because I work for myself doesn't mean I can just drop whatever I'm doing and go golf for 6 hours every day. Like, would I love to do that? Yeah. Now, when something comes up and somebody goes, hey, next Wednesday at 11, do you want to go golfing? That's nice to be able to make time out and not have to ask to do that, but just do it. But there's never this, like, perfect scenario when it's all over the place. Like, that's...
Well, my favorite is when they think that she and I are just going to concerts, or we're always going to lunch, or we're just always having fun.
Yeah, what do you guys do?
Well, we always say no to those things because before he even gets us inside, I'm like, no. I'm not putting on makeup. I'm not going to do anything social.
If it's Monday or Friday, and I start off and I go, I just got this email, and she'll be like, I'm not going. And I'm like, okay, I'll just email. I didn't even get it out, like what it is. And it doesn't matter. There have been concerts, there have been like free lunches, fancy things. We just don't go. But part of it was I still look at this like I did day one. I'm digging out of a hole constantly. Mm-hmm. I never think about the success of what we're doing. Not that I love what I'm doing, but it is a key. If you keep thinking that way, you won't look at it and say, well, I got all this money in the bank, or I've got this going on, or this new company, or this new opportunity. Because if you're always looking at it like you're still building it, you'll stay focused. It's the people that, and I'm not going to name names, but Rachel knows what I mean. Somebody that gets like their first client, and then there's another one that's kind of on the hook, so you got one and a third client. And then they're like,
I have a bunch of those.
I'm going on vacation. You know what I mean? It's like,
what?
They panic me because you're not paying attention. If you lose focus, you're going to lose it all. And then eventually when they have nothing, then it's everybody else's fault, right?
Well, of course.
They can't be disciplined enough to say, you know what, I probably should have worked on this thing a little deeper. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming. It's so interesting because I remember I just had this conversation with actually my brother-in-law, and I go, back in October, if you would tell me where I'm at with my business now, I would say, oh my gosh, take me there. Like, that sounds amazing. It went better than expected. But at the same time, if you would take me back to October, I don't know if I could do it again. I mean, I would because that's what I want out of life and that's my makeup, but it's hard to look too far forward or too far back because it creates all this self-doubt. You know, it's challenging. I mean, I try to, you gave me some good advice the other night, and it's to take some...
And we were not together when I gave it to you.
Yeah, right. It was pillow talk.
Yeah, it was by candlelight.
Not weird. No, but you gave me good advice because I look at where I'm at now, and I mean, my goal is to grow. We're on a good pace, but I need to take some steps back and be like, holy crap, like, you left your job, you're making it happen, you create your own schedule, you have amazing relationships with clients, what you're doing is you're offering a service to people that they need, you're helping them. Like, everything that I set out to do, I'm doing. And then this is like the bonus, right? Like, sitting here. And
this is the fun thing.
This is the fun thing, and I've been given a hard time for even doing this kind of stuff because it's unusual for people. What are you doing on the radio? You don't think, what do you know? And you just got to put those blinders on and focus on why I left, and that's it, and what I'm doing it for. I mean, my goal in all this is to wake up and do what I love every day, and then also to help people and to build relationships. I'm a big relationship builder. That's what gets me out of bed. Like, I love my relationships with my family, friends, everything. And the other side is, I want to look back 10 years from now and have created a life for myself and my family one day that I can be proud of and that I can be comfortable with and be able to do what I want to do later on, which is where you're at and why you got started. And I think the stuff we're covering today about are you motivated, is it nice having your own schedule, all those things are great, but I think the hardest part is ignoring what people say, focusing on what your goals are, and then having people like you in my life that help encourage me when I'm having a tough day, when I stop believing in myself. You know, it's so drastic as an entrepreneur. One day you're on fire, this is the greatest day ever, I just closed a sale. The next day you're like, why did I do this?
Right. No, listen, we just had somebody before you got here comment on something. First of all, they didn't understand what they were looking at, and then comment on something like on LinkedIn that we put together, and they're wrong about what they think that it is that they see, and upon further investigation, then they liked it. They comment about it like, well, that seems wrong to me, blah blah blah,
and then liked it.
Yeah, but for a minute, I felt like
you were a little upset first.
Well, okay, more than a minute. But my point being, I had to think about it. Who is this person and where do they work? I had not done anything with this person in 7 or 8 years, and they don't matter to me. Mm-hmm. But it bothered me that they brought it up, and then I was like, oh, I forgot. I run my own ship. I don't have to care what you think.
Right.
But that is why I have a nice balancing act, whether it's you or Andrew, or I count on Rachel every single day, because there are times that I just need another opinion. Mm-hmm. You have to have somebody else that has the same passion and instincts, but that's what's great about being an entrepreneur is there are so many out there. You've got to find them to keep yourself grounded.
Yep.
It's when you're dealing with people that have jobs, that's when you start to get annoyed because they have rules.
Yep.
We do not.
It becomes this group of people that are all on the same agenda with whatever you're in. Like, you know, not to talk about you're the sum of the people that you hang out with. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen that quote out there, but it's so true, and it ties into
it's the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That's who you'll become.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, just think about an office environment when you don't like what your boss is telling you. Everybody bands together and talks bad about them, right?
Right.
So if that same mentality is in that environment, then it's really hard to connect from an entrepreneur mindset with people that are in that mentality. And so I think you slowly start to connect yourself with other entrepreneurs in your day-to-day life because you know the struggles and the pains and things that people go through. Right. But yeah, I think it's important to make sure that you're surrounded by people like that's why I'm grateful that we met and we're able to do this show. And I have some really powerful people in my life that have kind of helped encourage me to get here. And it's important to make sure you have
and
that.
You've also met people through this whole process that there are going to be people that are coming on the show in the coming months.
Yeah.
But you're opening that door for them. Mm-hmm. So you're helping them while doing something you love to do.
That's right. Yeah, it's cool.
It's all cyclical. It all goes around. As long as you're feeding the beast, it will feed you back.
Yep. And our whole plan was this: if we affect one person and help them grow their business, or help take, you know, in my side of the business, take things off their plate and help them. If we're helping people, if we help one person that sees this, that is either on Facebook or on the radio or listens to us, then I feel like we're doing our job. You know, that's why we started it. So.
All right, well, that's going to be about it for this week,
cool.
Rachel.
Well, it's nice having Rachel.
Guest appearance.
Yeah,
Man, she's
once a year.
No
we get
fat
Rachel.
tongue.
Yeah, don't expect
she was
me
very
back.
clear with what she said.
Except for the Yay Sports Report. I will be back for that.
Oh, yeah, we need to Yay Sports.
That is one thing. I think we should have the Yay Sports Report once a week because...
It has nothing to do with business, but
it doesn't
it's
matter.
important.
I want to hear you struggle through sports.
I was saying...
we can do that.
I was saying I can't wait to just hand her a piece of paper so she'll be like, and the Canucks... play the Black Blue Jackets.
The Cincinnati Yankees are now playing
in the Nationwide Dome. But Rachel, thank you for coming on. I know that you hate being on the microphone, and that's why we're going to encourage this to be more often.
Yep.
You've been listening to 101, brought to you by Lincoln Wallace.
I love having you on.